This whole vision that I had of being a stay-at-home mom and homeschooling my kids had just crumbled in front of me. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're enjoying Vlogmas. Today we're actually going to talk about why I'm no longer homeschooling Arcadia, kind of how we came up with the decision to put her in school and if we will be bringing her back out of school, kind of talk about that whole thing. So if you saw before, I was pretty sick for about 6 weeks. I was also attempting to work a night seasonal job for Amazon. Things were kind of not really falling into place right. So the thing is, when I was going to be working, I had told Arcadia there's a good chance we probably wouldn't be working on school too much because I was working 6 at night until 4:30 or something like that in the morning. Basically, it was a 10-hour shift with a lunch break. So what I already knew, like, it was gonna be hard. Like, all day I would be kind of trying to nap and things like that before going to work, and I had told Arcadia we probably wouldn't do too much for school. Well then, I was sick, or I had the stent put in, and so she was kind of getting used to me kind of just laying around. I was in so much pain that I was getting irritable easier, and then also I kept asking her to help with my daughter Elsa. You know, if she wanted something, you know, like if she wanted milk, or she wanted a certain toy, or she wanted this, like I kept, you know, asking Arcadia to help, which ultimately kind of started to backfire. So then I did Amazon. It got worse. So I did those 3 days, and I was, you know, as I was at Amazon and I'm in this pain, I was like, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? Like, I don't need to do this. I was just so set on, like, or I want to make extra money right now. I was so bent on that I was like, my health, I was like, I need to focus on my health. And then my relationship with my girls was deteriorating. This whole vision that I had of being a stay-at-home mom and homeschooling my kids had just crumbled in front of me. And I started feeling guilty about it. So I was like, I'm not gonna work at Amazon. I had always told Arcadia too that if she wanted to try public school at any time she could. There were a lot of times where she's like, I don't want to go to school. So like I said, Arcadia was having a hard time because I was kind of relying on her to help out. And that was later, you know, you start thinking about it, you start beating yourself up about it. Like, man, like, I'm just a horrible mom. She came into my room one day and made a comment, and it just broke my heart. And she goes, Mom, I want to go to school so I can get out of your way. But it was an eye-opener. It was an eye-opener that we are just in a bad situation. It was a realization that I was asking too much of her. I wasn't able to do the things that I needed to do for her, and it wasn't fair for her. And I was like, wow, you just start feeling, you're kind of down on yourself. So the only way to kind of get out of that was to take responsibility for it. Okay, thank you. I'll just put it right here, thank you. So I had to take responsibility for it. So I was like, you know what? Maybe we should go ahead and enroll you in school until I get better, and then we can reassess it, and that way you can see what it's like. And in a way, it's helping me as well, because it's like I was too proud to ask for help, and so this was a way for someone to help me. So I got on the computer. I knew there was an elementary school, you know, basically down the street. So I got on the computer, I found out what their area was, and I gave them a call. I asked if they were still accepting new students, and they said yes, if you are within the area, they're definitely accepting new students. So they told me, you know, what I needed to get her enrolled. I had to fill out the little application thing. I had to get her shot records and bring in her birth certificate and the proof of my residency, so like my ID. So I was like, okay, I can do that. So then I called her doctor and I asked for both of my daughters a copy of both of their shot records. And this was also, they have a preschool over there, so I was looking into that for Elsa, and I decided not to put her in preschool. I'll talk about that here in a minute. So basically my doctor's office had the shot records there waiting for me at the front desk, and this happened to be the same day that Ricky got in his car accident. So we did not go get the shot records. We ended up getting the shot records the next day. I went and picked them up. And then I went down to the school on a Wednesday and I got her all enrolled, and then she officially started on a Thursday. So her first week was only a Thursday and Friday, so that was kind of, I think, a good way to ease her into it. Now, you saw all of our homeschool curriculum that we had was for first grade. However, a lot of that you can work with them as second graders as well, because it's just the time, it's like their age between 6 and 7 years old. So some people might be like, oh my gosh, you bought all of that curriculum, or you have all that curriculum and it's all going to go to waste. No, it won't. And especially now that she's been in school and I see what they're learning, and I'm feeling better, there's a good chance that she's almost going to be going to public school and still homeschooling, and that I could probably go into a whole nother video about. She enjoys it. It almost feels like it's kind of like a daycare for me to have her there. She is, though. So what they do is they put her in kindergarten, is what they put her in, because she had never attended a public school before. So she's in class with 5-year-olds and other 6-year-olds. So she's not the only 6-year-old in there, which is good. I didn't want them to put her in first grade and then have them decide she's not ready and put her back, because I had that same experience. I was in second grade when I lived in Michigan. When we moved here to Arizona, they put me back to first grade. We moved back to Michigan, and now there I was in first grade, and I got made fun of, I got bullied all the time because of it, and I do not wish that upon my child. So I said, let's put her in kindergarten and see how she's doing, and if then we need to move her up to first grade, I'd rather move her up than move her down. So actually what they're doing with her, which is kind of cool, they're doing with a few other kids, she's in kindergarten, but there's a few times a week that she goes to a separate reading class, a separate math class, that is more like first grade. When I was doing homeschool, we were doing simply Charlotte Mason, which is to educate the entire child. So like I mentioned, there's still things that we're going to still be doing at home that they're not doing at school. The one thing though was when she was in school, it's probably her, I'll say maybe her second week, she was like, Mom, I don't want to go to school anymore. And part of me was like excited, and it was funny because she said it in the car when my husband was in the car, and he looks at me with a big smile like, well, there you go. And I'm like, well, I still had the stent in. I was still laid up. And so I said, okay, this is the deal I'm gonna make with you. You're gonna continue to go to school until I have the stent out. And once I have the stent out and I'm able to give you the attention that you need, then we'll reassess. So now that I've had the stent out, she likes school, so I'm not gonna take her out. If the time comes, if she changes her mind, she's always welcome to say she doesn't want to do it, and I'd be glad to teach her myself. As far as Elsa now, I did not put her in preschool for kind of 2 reasons. One is it costs money, and the whole reason I decided to be a stay-at-home mom was so I didn't have to pay for daycare, and I don't have to pay for that thing. So for me, I just was like, I don't want to spend all that. And I have all the resources from when Arcadia was in, preschool and all that. So the other thing was they're only half days. So she basically go from like 8 to 11. And I felt like because I'm walking, I have to walk them. At the time when I started her in school and I had to walk her to, when I first started, I still had that stent in. And I mentioned this in my other video that every time I walked, I would end up peeing blood because of the stent being in there. And it was so painful, I would have to take a pain pill just to walk her to school. So the idea of having to walk them both to school, come home, walk to pick up Elsa, come home, walk to pick up Arcadia, and come home I was like, I can't do it. I physically couldn't do it. Now that I feel better, I could physically do it. However, I feel like it's such a waste of that time. To walk there is about 10 minutes, and to come home is about, so that's, an extra 20, that's an extra 40 minutes out of my day. And already having Arcadia in school, okay, so by the time I get back from dropping her off, it's already almost 8. So I only have from 8 to 2 already, and I'm basically, yes, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I'm also a working from home mom. So I have a business now that I'm running, and so that's already too short of a time. So to have to interrupt that time to take Elsa back and forth, it just doesn't make sense. So basically it started like I don't want to pay the money for it, and I don't want to add the time to do it. So Elsa's not in preschool. No, I don't plan on putting her in preschool. I kind of hope that she wants to stay in homeschool with me, but we'll see. So as you can imagine, it was extremely emotional. Like I said, I was feeling guilty. I was feeling like I let everyone down. I was feeling selfish because I wanted Arcadia to be home. I want to homeschool her. And the reality was I couldn't do it. And so I had to battle all of those emotions. Basically, the main way I was able to do it was to take responsibility for the situation and to just let it be. It is what it is. I have to kind of look at what's the positive thing that came out of everything. If you have any questions about this whole situation, you can leave them in the comments. But basically, I just want you guys to know, like, you're not alone. It's okay, like, if you need help, it's okay to get help. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to accept help. It's okay if the vision that you had doesn't actually look like you had envisioned it. It's okay. And the biggest thing is just to take responsibility of the situation that you're in and to make the decisions that are going to be best for you and your family. And if it means not homeschooling, then you may not be able to homeschool. Or if that means having a combination, a half day of regular school and still homeschooling, or if that means taking your child out of public school to homeschool them, whatever is going to be best for you and your family. I mean, this was kind of like an update of everything that was going on, but I hope that I've kind of given you guys some kind of comfort in knowing that things don't always have to be how you expect them to be. It's okay. But as always, you guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.